Hi everyone. Here we are again. hmm. Um, Next week, I'm gonna have David Hoffmeister on my show. So if you have questions, fire your way next week. But yeah, I got some questions this week as well. And I have been meditating before, just 10 minutes before the show, on these questions. And I thought they're really good. They're really, really good inroads for us to come together and explore, because I can see all these questions are really present, very specific and really practical. So I think I'm gonna start with this one, and please feel free to participate as well. Don't feel that I'm just answering someone else's question. If you have follow-ups or anything, just let me know, because it's just about our joining together to explore. So here's this question. There's a little background in, and it's a question about acute pain of acute phases of chronic illness. So here's a little background. In 2009, contracted Lyme disease, then going through a few healing in different clinics. There is a lot of help and recovery is happening, and at the same time I started A Course in Miracles. Since then, my mental, emotional, and physical health have continued to improve. I'm practicing the daily Course in Miracles lessons to the best of my ability, and I follow the instructions of my naturopathic and chiropractic doctors. My question on how to best deal with acute phases of chronic illness is related to the fact that often I experience moments in which any one or several of the symptoms of Lyme flare up. For example, last night in my bed, my feet started to cramp. This muscle cramping I get is so violent and painful that it's very difficult to let go of the resistance and try to do something to stretch the muscles. Yesterday night, though, I tried to apply what I have learned in ACAM so far. I was doing my best to hand over the situation to the Holy Spirit, to focus on who I am, telling myself that I'm a son of God, not subject to any physical limitations, that God's strength is my strength, that it is okay to let the cramping happen, that it will pass when I let the Holy Spirit take over, and so on. It was very difficult and seemed like forever until finally the cramps started to subside. This kind of situation happens to me almost daily with any of the symptoms I still experience. So I would like to know what is the best way to handle such situations. Any insight and support you could provide would be greatly appreciated. So, wow. Topic of pain, illness. I think if the pain is really the experience or something that seems to happen in the experience on a daily basis or on a pretty frequent basis, it's probably good to start with how to look at the pain, how to look at the situation, to start there. Because really the pain seems to happen as part of the body, or even has a part of the reason as a physical disease or illness. But really the pain is happening in the mind, and it got projected onto the body. So what is going on is the mind screaming out for love, is calling out for love. And it's saying there is something that's going on in the mind that is so unnatural and so disconnected with love that I cannot handle it. And we know that intellectually the reason of the pain, of course, intellectually we all know it's the separation. When the separation happens, it immediately started to present this self and external world. But it doesn't stop there. What happens is like Big Bang. It multiply in all kinds of scenarios to support this initial separation, or to hide actually this initial separation, and dump this huge discomfort and this huge pain onto, as far as possible, a specific scenario out there. And sometimes it dumped onto a specific body, and there is really no difference. Either it dumps onto this particular body and that the pain is experienced as acute, or it dumps onto somebody else's body and we believe someone else is experiencing pain. Like a body can experience pain, that is even believed. There is really no difference in the discomfort. The level of discomfort is the same. And yet, when the pain is acute, it's really up right now in the experience saying, something is not natural, and please address this call for love. Please look at this call for love. And naturally, if we base on whatever that is presented, because the pain was dumped so far away from the original reason, it's very tempting to solve it there. And it's very, very natural and tempting to want to dump the pain away from the body, using any method to say, if I just can get a relief from the pain. Or even if the pain is not acute, but it presented itself as some other version of pain, like a boredom or upset or anything, then the solution is presented somewhere else, and we're hooked into, let's find out a way to get relief there, because the problem seems to be there. So let's try to find the relief there in some way. So the thing is, what we don't realize is when we define the issue as going on there and try to solve the problem there, what it happens is keep projecting, is keep that momentum, that direction of separation. It's like, as soon as we define a problem, there are two more problems. As soon as we try to solve it, there are more problems to solve, there are more solutions to choose, and your mind is keep going toward that direction of separation, and the pain is never going to be released. Suffering is never going to be released. So this question, what to do in this acute experience of pain, I have to say, from my personal experience, I think pain is almost like I can say is my pathway, because I had so many years of dealing with it, seemingly with the bodily pain, physical pain. But I think it is a gift because you cannot hide and avoid it. You cannot numb yourself, because it's very, very easy if we perceive or believe. For example, in this particular situation, anyone right now believe that someone else is experiencing pain and can experience pain as a body is experiencing pain right now. It's just not that acute. And then when the experience is really acute, it is such a strong call for love that you actually cannot just, brush it off or try to numb yourself or go to watch a movie hoping that you just forget about it, or eat a piece of cake, then you feel like get a temporary pleasure to numb yourself, because it's just not going to happen. You really have to address it in some way. And then the frustration is, what do I do? How do I address? Because, I probably have tried everything with this body. I've tried everything with the traditional medical model or even naturopath model. But what is really going on here? And there is really no way around this until we really go back to the real cause. And the cause, intellectually knowing the cause, doesn't solve anything, because we can say the words 1,000 times a day. It doesn't solve anything. We don't really know it by quoting it, by getting it from a book. This original cause has to be revealed as an experience. And that's why I think to ask the question, what do we do in the experience of pain, is equivalent to the question, what do we do in the experience of separation? The only thing to do, if there's anything, is forgiveness. And the reason is just what I was describing. This is the direction of the mind, is that after the separation, we have to keep projecting this pain, this discomfort in the mind, and keep engaging the mind, so the momentum is kept and the direction is kept. And actually, if the mind doesn't keep going there, doesn't keep projecting, it's going to go back. This is the natural direction it's going to fall back to. It's going to fall back to the original position, which is actually a state of oneness and a state of happiness and joy. So what is maintaining this pain is by keep projecting and keep trying to find a problem, define a problem, or holding on to a solution, or trying to find a solution. Holding on to judgment of any kind, holding on to grievance of any kind, is to keep this momentum going. Then that's why I just feel the Course is such a genius pathway, because this is truly nothing else we can do except stop projecting. And the Course's word to describe stop projecting is stop judging or forgiveness. That is the only thing. That is the only thing that can stop this momentum and can stop the pain and the suffering keep going, because then the other direction is actually very, very natural. So it comes back to really what do we do about this life, and what do we do in every moment, is to really to stop this projecting keep happening, so that it lock the mind really in this misery and in this illusory problematic perception. There's when you go back there, you see there is no problem, and it's to define any problem is ridiculous. And where the real problem is where you find the solution of every problem there ever is in this world. So where do we start to forgive? And I guess with anyone that has this intense experience, it doesn't really matter whether it's projected as a physical pain or emotional suffering or upset, anger. That is the start, because that does present you with very, very specific and immediate thing to forgive in that moment. Because let's talk about physical pain. When that comes up, seemingly in the body, that is not the only thing that's going on in the mind. There definitely an emotional interpretation of it at the same time. And that is a starting point. Because, to say or to really think, I really have nothing to forgive, that is not true. Every intense situation does present a doorway to find out exactly what is there. Just the situation itself present. What do I see? How do I perceive this situation? Do I perceive that I'm a victim? Do I perceive I'm helpless? Do I perceive that maybe I did something wrong, I'm such a failure? Whatever that is in that moment is the thing that is coming up for us to forgive and let go of the judgment. And when we do have pain, we don't really say you accept pain because you can't change it. The thing that we do have to enter a state of surrendering, though, but what we're surrendering to is a realization. It is a natural, this is the law of cause and effect. The pain that we're experiencing does not necessarily make us a victim. The pain is inevitable effect of the cause that we're choosing, which is certain kind of interpretation or judgment or grievance that we're holding on to. And it's inevitable. That is like a cause and effect. And there is no need to feel I'm victim, and there is no need also to flip to the other side to say I have to surrender and I have to accept it because this is just how it is. It is just how it is because of the cause that it still hasn't really been addressed. But it's such a deep call for love. I actually feel it's really, really good. It's intense, but it's a huge kick. It's a huge kick, a huge wake-up call to say there is something that for us to look at. And this is the starting point. This is starting point. Is this something that we believe to be true about who I am, about what this situation is, about anybody involved, perfect situation to enter our mind. It's really just all a problem of desire and motivation. We don't really need a lot of intellectual understanding. We don't really need a lot of study or even experience, mystical experience. We don't really need that. All we need is this desire to stop projecting. And it's such a trick that the cause and effect are put so far away from each other, times and space in between, that it's like smoke and mirror, so that we don't ever address what is really going on in the mind. But thank you very much for your question. All right. Okay, this is another one. I got very long emails. I think everybody really want me to know the whole context. So it's good. Okay, here is the issue. I've been involved in politics for many years now. Mostly I comment on social media, write a few emails, sign a few petitions, so nothing too major. There's one issue lately that I have become very caught up in, and it does feel like I'm a fish in a net, frustrated, worried, and downright miserable. It's a local issue, and I won't bore you with the details, but let's just say it involves the arts, which is something near and dear to my heart. And I feel that the current party, whom I vote for, is about to make a major mistake, which I think would affect my town, its people, and its economy very badly. I feel betrayed because I thought they would protect the arts. I vote for this party because of their position on a separate matter. When they were not in power, it seems like they have done a complete reversal of opinion. I'm also concerned about the corruption that is probably working behind the scenes, and that makes me feel helpless and scared too. I need help here. I feel like I'm pretty good about changing my perception, but this has really sucked me in. I'm getting tired of arguing, but on the other hand, I feel like this is something worth fighting for. What's the lesson here? Thank you. it feels like, a relationship. You choose someone and you thought this person gonna give you something, and then when you get married, you realize, well, you betrayed me. You're not what I thought at all. You didn't give me what I want from you. You didn't give me what is important to me. And maybe you even take away something from me. I don't know the full issue here, but I think if it involves arts, let's start from talking about arts a little bit. If it involves arts, probably involves some kind of expression. I just watched a video recently about Vincent van Gogh, about his painting, the Starry Sky. And he did that painting when he was in this really manic, depressive state. Actually, he was locked in a asylum, I believe, at that point. And he painted that painting. And then many, many decades later, scientists analyzed that painting and realized, I think they discovered something in the cosmos, in the universe, about the energy flowing patterns. And they realized that in Van Gogh's painting, it matches the actual energy flow pattern exactly. And then they analyzed a few of other paintings of him and from other artists of, who probably did the same style of painting, but none of the painting actually matched the exact pattern, including Van Gogh's other paintings that he did when he wasn't that depressed or insane. So, I just thought it's just really interesting. I don't think it's really relevant to this, but I just thought it was really interesting to even question what really is insane. What is really insane. There's some kind of expansion of consciousness that seems to be going on that is just so out of the box of whatever construct that is going on. He couldn't really be understood, or he couldn't understand anything. But really, like, when we talk about arts, it is about expression. And I feel this is truly what's going on with the use of the body. When we even experience pain, as I just said, the direction in our mind is going that way, to go more scattered, more projection, more separation. And we use the body, as the Course talked about, we use the body for pride, pleasure, and attack, to seek pride, individual pride, pleasure, bodily pleasure, and attack, individual attack, or attacking some other bodies, or defending this body. It's the same, attacking and defend, protection. And with political things, it is inevitable to get involved with certain kind of protection or defense with certain issues. There's a stand that is taken, and we go protecting this, defending this, or defending against this. Either or, there's something going on. But with art, really, art is about expression, and that is what Jesus was saying. The right use of body, before the body even becomes obsolete or nothing, when the mind is, so healed and so far back, it doesn't really even comprehend what does a body mean. But before that, the reversal of the use of body from the ego's use of body is using it for communication. And art is the use of body for communication, to really pour out what is, to open up this communication channel, to allow the passion, allow the inspiration to come out, to be shared. And I trust anyone that wants to protect the art or protect anything to do with art is probably in a way wanted to protect that kind of expression. But really, true expression doesn't need to be protected. Nothing that is true needs to be protected or maintained. If there's anything that you feel needs your protection and needs your maintenance, it's not worth it, because it's not the truth. And to do that, to maintain anything, to protect anything, you have to go against something else. So there is something you protect, there's something you go against. And that is exactly what I was describing. You're not going toward the solution, you're going further away from the solution. That's why there is a frustration. That's why there is feeling of, you got stuck and there's no peace. Because the mind gets so wound in that specific, and in this and that, something to protect and something to defend. It cannot get out of the loop anymore. So I think here you ask about the lesson. I think the lesson is, it is really a great experiment for all of us. Why do we protect anything? What is this? What is there really that worth our protection? All that we're protecting ultimately is protecting a self-concept, because something that is there defines me in some way, or relate with me and makes me feel like me in some way. Or is wanting to take a helper role to say someone else is in trouble and I need to help them, because it's the same as perceiving somebody in pain, or somebody is weak, or somebody is in trouble, and then try to find solution there. There is no solution. So the real solution in there is actually to find a connection, to find a way to really connect with my brother, because that is really the reversal, the practical application of forgiveness is in every situation. Let our goal be to find a point where we can completely connect with our brother and completely see them as innocent. It doesn't really matter what stand they have. It doesn't really matter what their behaviors are. Because everything changes. One party today, they're doing this, even if they're doing exactly what you want them to do, the next year they could change. Everything will change. You're going to be caught up in this, impermanence of this illusory world if you invest the mind into that kind of problem solving mechanism. And we need to let them, be completely free, not having any expectations to their behavior. Because if my goal is peace of mind in this moment, if my goal is somehow to find a way to connect with my brother, not necessarily even having to meet them as friends or anything, just in my mind, to find this place of union and love and connection, if this is truly my goal, then every situation that happens around me serves me, because it either reminds me that I already feel this peace and this innocence, and you can enjoy that feeling, or it just tells you there is something that is popping up to be looked at and to be forgiven. So you actually can stay in this, in this wonderment of nothing changes, because the purpose is the same. Everything can change in form, but the purpose is the same, so really nothing changes. This party goes up, this party goes down, this art is protected, this art is not protected, these people are protected, these people are not protected. It doesn't really matter what's going on, because there is a sameness that's held in my mind. What is the purpose of my position here? My position is to forgive and forgive and forgive, so that I don't, even that forgiveness, I have to say, doesn't really help the mind go into oneness, so to speak. What it does is stop from projecting. Every single moment you have a chance of stopping this momentum or this temptation to keep project. And the mind is trained. That's what Jesus calls mind training, because you train the mind to continuously use every situation to forgive. Then the mind is so close to the original sin, so to speak, or original problem, which is separation. It doesn't go any further than that. Then God takes the final step. It's effortless. Okay. Oh, here we go. Another one. It's a long one too. I'm gonna read it out loud. Hi Francis, is there a way to really tell between what's given and what is us striving too much? I feel inspired a lot lately. A lot of my energy is going out into activity and creativity for my design work and setting up a new business. This feels a very active use of my mind. Even on walks in nature, I'm photographing things, sketching them, then bring them back to the computer to work on. I love this, but it definitely takes me out of the present moment. My mind mostly feels busy, but happily so. This new career has come after a long period of not enjoying work ever. Worked in banking and finance. The freedom that comes from this new career is potentially phenomenal. I can work from anywhere in the world on my computer. Many aspects of this new career feels like they are given and are freeing me up to live more unwound from society and to be able to support myself and my son in a way that would enable us to live and move more spontaneously and freely on the planet. My mind is always active on this, though. I'm waking up in the middle of the night, inspired and writing down ideas. It's definitely taking up a lot of bandwidth. I'm less reflective than I used to be. I'm finding time to do my daily lesson and a short meditation, and I try to remain in dialogue with the Holy Spirit as I go about my day. I enjoy the contemplative parts, but even while in them, thoughts of what to do next pop up continuously. This has been going on for the best part of a year now, and my question is this just a distraction and a delay tactic on the part of the ego? Or if I'm enjoying it, should I continue to go this flow of inspiration over a longer period of time? there is definitely a big dose of future goals in this activity, but on some level it feels that as a parent, I'm often bridging the divide of practical considerations and how I'd like to be living. I can't work out if this is one last push with the help of Spirit to get into more supportive circumstances, or whether I should just drop down into deepening right now and let the rest take care of itself without such activity on my part. Wondering if you have tips for this discernment. Well, from your description, I definitely sense there is a surge of inspiration there. And I know I have said this to a few people. Actually, ego cannot bring us inspiration. To indulge in the ego or to follow the ego's thought system doesn't generate this so-called inspiration, this feeling. Even if we're following something that is really pleasurable or exciting, if it is not truly given by the Spirit, you go into it and you feel as just dead. Is really not inspiring. So I don't ever doubt whenever there is this kind of aliveness that you feel in your vine, in your bone, that is truly the Spirit that is calling you out from whatever that was going on before and calling you into the next step. And it really doesn't really matter what the next step look like. It's probably less quiet than before, or is more busy doing in terms of the body, but when we follow the inspiration of the Spirit, it's always letting the mind going into some kind of vastness and allowing the mind to let go of certain boundaries and boxes that was locking us in the past. So that is a very practical step that we talk a lot about, not just a mental forgiveness work that we're doing 24/7 is like thinking our way through forgiveness. We actually allow the body to be used by the Spirit and to really dare to step into the next step when that is presented. I also just saw that you're talking about this is a long-term goal, or if this is a Spirit, then that is going to happen over a long period of time, or if this is not the Spirit inspiration or is from the Spirit, you should just drop it so that you have more time for meditation and contemplation. But I feel even it is, sounds to me this is a step that the Spirit is offering for us to step into. The mind does want to put it on a timeline and want to say, okay, this is what is given by the Spirit, so this is what I'm supposed to do. What it also happens is what you were describing, the mind wants to jump in to say, if this is truly given by the Spirit, I better make it happen. How do I make it happen? What should I do next? There is a lot of push of I am in control, or I am somehow, it's up to me. Even if this is the Holy Spirit's guidance, it is up to me to make it happen. So there is a allowing it to be happening, and at the same time the ego wants to come in to say, I have to make it happen at the same time. And it's not really how it works. And that's what, it's like what I just mentioned. Why do we have to ever protect or maintain anything? Truth should be effortless, and truth shouldn't be needing maintenance and protection. And it is the same around guidance. If this is the guidance, what the Spirit wants us to do is to say yes, and to be collaborative, to not hold back. But it doesn't really need us to make it happen. We don't really have to jump in to say, okay, I have to make sure it's not going to fall apart. I have to make sure I'm on top of this. I have to plan it all out to guarantee that it's going to happen. It is still the wrong engagement of the mind. The ego actually crept in that. At one point, one level, you are allowing yourself to accept the next step and allow the guidance. You embrace it fully, but on the other hand, the ego is not allowing the mind to relax. It comes in with control, and it comes in with planning, with future goals, with looking back to see, did I do it? Did I mess it up? So again, if we just truly allow ourselves to stay in this place in the mind, to know that everything, it really doesn't matter what's happening, everything that is to happen, my goal and my only responsibility is to forgive any kind of judgment and any kind of attack thoughts, using my feeling to see where I feel contracted, where I feel the pressure, where I feel the stress. And our mind needs to stay in that relaxed state, to go back to that original, to be as close as possible to the original error. Our mind needs to relax in that relaxed state, because if it doesn't in the relaxed state, it is engaging. What does that engage into? Is engaging into some aspects of separation. It's going further away. Is holding on to some kind of interpretation or judgment of the situation so that it can keep a definition of this me happening. So it started to come in as this engaging energy that push the projection from stopping, or make it keep happening, basically. Then you find yourself having more questions and having more problems. Then you find yourself having to find solutions in that situation. And then at the beginning, something that's pure inspiring and pure given, as if it is a fairy tale, becomes a very heavy work. You have to solve certain problems. So I just want to say that, let's be really, really open to whatever happening. If we can keep that attitude of allowing forgiveness to be the only goal, then our mind is relaxed, because we're not there in fear of certain things will happen. We're not like trying to protect certain things from happening. We're definitely also not there to try to push and try to make things happen. So we're just there as a way to remind ourselves, let me forgive in this situation. Let me see what's coming up in this situation. And then you just watch the scene, watch the form and the appearances. They might change, but it all serves this ultimate purpose. Everything works together for good. And this good is awakening. Everything works together for awakening. Everything works together for our minds to go back to innocence. If we give it the chance, if we give it the chance to say, okay, let me open up my judgment here. Let me reverse my conclusion here and just stay open. Then you find that, your son will be taken care of, your body will be taken care of, and then you continuously stay in this connection with the inspiration. This inspiration doesn't have to die, but you have to allow the form to change, to keep the inspiration. If we hold on to a form, then we lose sight of the content. We lose sight of what is really going on, what really matters. So we have to be so flexible. We have to allow the form to change however it wants to change, to flow however it wants to flow, so that we can get in touch with this inspiration in heart. Okay. Yeah, there are actually a lot of other things that's going on. I have friends calling me about relationships and the relationship issues that's going on here in the center. So the relationship topic also is up, but we don't really have time to go into it today.
Tune in next week.
Yeah, we'll see what happens next week. David is here for a week, so he will be here. But it's very practical, I just feel this message is very, very uncompromising. But it doesn't mean that it's just like cloud in the sky. It is something truly practical, and it's really the only real practical thing that we can do and we can work on. This only meaningful thing that we can apply. So thank you so much for joining me today. I will see you next week. Bye.